Hi everyone, it's Teacher Janelle. It's so good to see you. I have something I want to show you. Does anybody know what this is? If you said a light, you're right. This is a battery operated light, and when I turn the switch on, see what happens. It lights up. We also know that we can make light by using candles. We also see light in our houses when we turn on light switches. The idea of light is a really interesting thing to think about. And we're getting ready to have lots of different holiday celebrations in our houses. This year, we're going to be talking about some of those holiday celebrations and how the idea of light comes into the story. Because most of the stories that we hear and most of the celebrations we have around the holidays have to do with light in some way. So I have a chart here. We're going to be talking about Diwali today, Hanukkah later in the month of December, Christmas at the end of December, Kwanzaa also at the end of December, and Dia de los Reyes, which is in January. But today I want to talk about Diwali, and I want to make a craft with you while I talk about Diwali. I don't celebrate Diwali in my family, but talking to some families that do celebrate it, I have come to understand that Diwali is a celebration of good versus evil. And light comes into play because in some of the stories, when the good person came back from conquering evil, all over the city, people put out lights to welcome them back to the city. And those lights were called diyas. And they put them all over the city. And that was how they welcomed the good person back who just fought evil. So today, I thought we would do a craft together. And what you're going to need to do this craft is you're going to need a glue stick or white glue with a brush. You're going to need some scissors. You're also going to need some crayons. And finally, you're going to need this handout that you have in your resource bag. Also in your resource bag, just to let you know, is one of these lights that we're going to use for different projects, but you might want to get that out too. So go ahead and gather your supplies, pause the video, and then let's come back and talk about how to do our craft today. Once you have your paper, you need to color or decorate it. I used crayons, but you can use markers or pens or colored pencils, or you can use crayons. You can even use things maybe that are like 3D, like jewels or things like that. You're welcome to do that wherever you want. So I need you to color this, and once you color it, we will go on to the next part. Once it's colored, you need to take your scissors, and you can ask your mom or your dad to help you. But you need to cut off this top part here. So there's a black line, and I'm going to cut off the top part along the black line. There's a black line on the top, and there's also a black line on the bottom. You also need to cut there. Okay. So once you've done that, you've colored your diyas on this lantern and you cut off the top and the bottom. I want you to look closely now at this line that is along the middle. And I need you to, with a grown-up, or if you can do it yourself, you can try it, but you can also ask a grown-up for help. I need you to fold your paper along that line. So here's what it looks like. Here are the bottom of my diyas and here are the top of my diyas. Once you've done that, if you look carefully, there are these other lines that are going vertical, up and down. What you're going to do is where the paper folded, you're going to take scissors and you're going to gently cut only to the black line. Okay? So do you see how I did that? I cut only to the black line where the fold was. I don't want to cut through my letters on the top. I'm going to cut from the bottom. So again, I'm going to cut all of those from the bottom to the black line. And the scissors that I'm using, being big, I really only need to make one cut. But if your scissors are smaller, you might need to make 2 cuts. So I'm going to make sure those are all cut. Okay, almost done. All right. As you can see now, we have a whole bunch of little hanging pieces that have been cut. What you're going to do then is you're going to open up your lantern like this. And you're going to notice that on this side it says glue. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a glue stick I have. You're going to take the cap off. Make sure you put that somewhere safe so that the cap can stay. And where it says glue, you're going to put glue there. Okay, just like this. All right, then the last thing you're going to do is you're going to try to fold your lantern so that this part here that does not have glue reaches this part that does have glue. And then you're going to press down right here. And you're going to glue it together. And now you can see that you have made a happy Diwali lantern. Does anybody know what I could add to make this better? Well, I could add a handle. So what I could do is I could take the paper that I cut off, and I could make a lantern like that, and that's what I'm actually going to do. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this end of that scrap piece of paper, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this end of that scrap piece of paper. And then I'm going to take them and I'm going to press them down inside my lantern. It doesn't really matter where, but I'm going to hold tight and push them. And now I might have to let it dry for a little while before I can use it as a really strong handle. But now I've got a lantern. One last thing that might be fun is to take your light, turn it on, and put it inside, and then go somewhere dark, and then see what the light looks like coming through your lantern. If you do this craft, I'd love to see you post a picture of it on our Padlet so that the rest of the class could see what your Diwali lantern looks like. Before I go today, I showed you that chart. I just want to fill it in with you. We just talked about Diwali, and the question is, how does Diwali mention light? And again, I'm going to write here, good conquers evil. Good is greeted by lights all over the city. And again, those are called dayas. Those are called dayas. I really enjoyed talking to you about Diwali today, and I look forward to seeing you again on video soon. Bye-bye.